Hello and welcome to Ibby's Digital Nomad Stories, featuring real conversations with professionals who've cracked the code to sustainable nomadic lifestyles. These people aren't beach and Wi Fi chasers, they're building competitive advantages that traditional employment could never match. Global mobility, income diversification, and the freedom to capitalize on opportunities anywhere. I'm Ibi Malik, your favorite digital nomad consultant, and today I'm joined on the show by Kayleigh Franks, someone who didn't stumble into nomadism, she hunted it down. 2016, Chiang Mai, she spent 3 months interviewing digital nomads for her university research. 24 interviews, 90 minutes each, studying them like specimens. And then she made it her life's mission to become one. So she played the long game, got an office job, showed up every day, built skills, established foundation. She spent years planning and building. And when she finally did it, it wasn't what she expected. Airbnbs isolated her. The magic she had observed in Chiang Mai was missing until she discovered co-livings. Finally, after 8 years of chasing it, the thing she'd been building towards was real. This is what happens when you plan for a decade and reality still surprises you. Here's Kayleigh. You wrote a bachelor's thesis about being a digital nomad.
Yeah.
Why?
My bachelor degree was business tourism, and those two things were combined, created Digital Nomad.
What year was it?
That I wrote it, 2015.
How did you even know what a digital nomad was in 2015?
I was the first of its kind. No, my brother was really in the scene and he talked to me about it and it fascinated me. So I decided to research into it, and Nomad list was up at the time.
Really?
It was. And it said the number one hub was Chiang Mai. So I flew to Chiang Mai and spent 3 months interviewing digital nomads. I think 24 different interviews for an hour and a half. And yeah, got to know what it was like to be nomadic.
In 2016?
2015.
2015.
Oh, no, I had the idea in 2015. 2016, I actually executed it, yeah.
Wow. And what kind of stuff did these nomads... Obviously, they were in... Wait, what country is Chiang Mai?
It was in Thailand.
So, obviously, they were in Thailand. That's... What do you think of Thailand nomads?
Well, at the beginning, it was pretty incredible, like creating this community. There was no co-living or anything like that, which I think is one of the main differences now versus back then. But we did live in a certain apartment where other nomads would live as well. So it kind of had a similar feel where we were living in our own apartments, but it would run into each other in the corridors and stuff like that. And we'll meet at certain cafes for co-working that day. And
what do you mean we?
me and the other people in the buildings.
So you were a nomad in 2016?
Well, I wasn't nomad. I wasn't technically a nomad because I wasn't working. I was studying them, but I integrated.
You were studying them?
Yes.
What did you observe in their natural habitat?
That a lot of the catalyst to becoming a nomad, well, for many of them, it was reading the book, The 4 Hour Work Week. Probably not a surprise.
Tim Ferriss?
Tim Ferriss, 4 Hour Work Week.
Really?
Yes.
Good old Tim.
Yeah, he
sparking the original Nomads.
Revolution. Yeah, but they didn't agree with the 4 Hour Work Week because, I mean, his concept is like being location independent and having control over that kind of thing. But they were, I guess, skeptical about the 4 hours per week because actually you have to really put in some work.
It's a bit longer than 4 hours.
A little bit.
Even I work longer than 4 hours. Do you work longer than 4 hours?
A week, yes.
My God, what do you do?
I do digital marketing.
I see.
And yeah, I run strategies, implementations, budgets, that kind of thing for Meta, Google.
What are you working on right now?
My main clients are universities, and yeah, I drive leads for them for new students.
Interesting. All right. So you started as a digital nomad researcher. You researched them as part of your bachelor's thesis.
Yeah.
Was it just an excuse to hang out with cool nomad people?
I mean, I guess it was a bit of an excuse. It was cool to go to Thailand and understand, but yeah, it became my life's mission after that to actually become one myself. So I chose, based my whole career on how I could choose something that would allow me to become location independent.
So you are pure-blooded.
I am a pure blood.
You're a pure-blooded nomad. Respect.
Through and through. But I didn't do it for a few years. I decided to build my career in a I guess, location restrictive job so that I had the skills to be able to
Smart.
do what I do now.
Walk me through that. What does it mean? I know what you mean, but help us understand what that means.
Well, I decided to work for an agency in Sydney to be able to build up my skills, but they had to have me in the office every day.
Of course.
That doesn't align with me at all, but I thought it was a good way to establish a foundation that would allow me to travel at my own will. And then COVID hit. So I was restricted then. And then after that, I was like, there is nothing stopping me now. So I quit my job. I went out on my own. And yeah, it actually, well, I did that a year prior and it was all working out really well. And then I was able to afford myself and my partner to travel the world.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
That's super cool. What do you think of nomadism as a career choice?
What do you mean?
Like, you meet a lot of people who fall into being a nomad. You meet a lot of people who are like, oh, that's a great thing, maybe, that I could do. You meet very few people who are like, this is what I want. I'm going to go and get it. I'm going to make it happen. I have a structured plan for X number of years where I'm going to work in Sydney and do X, Y, Z and get my skills up, and then I'm going to do it. Very few people do that.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that whole journey? Like, it's a very different way of thinking about the nomad existence. You've set yourself up for it deliberately and in a calculated way. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Did it serve you?
To be honest with you, I obviously spent so many years anticipating this kind of lifestyle. And then I started doing it around a bit in Europe, but mainly in like South America. And I actually didn't enjoy the way I did it. And I was like, what have I done? My whole life I've trained. Well, I've worked towards this and it's not what I expected.
Why?
Because, and I know why, I decided to travel renting out Airbnbs. So it really restricts who you interact with, for one. And I think for me, a lot of the beauty to nomadism is actually connecting with people and similar mindsets and that kind of thing. But it really isolates you when you're in Airbnb. So unless you're going to like events that co-working places are setting up, or maybe going to a co-working space, yeah, there's so many ways to be nomadic. I don't think that was the right way for me. Whereas now, obviously being more introduced into the co-living, co-working space, you get to spend time doing really things that you would never think of doing yourself, and skill sharing, and I think opening your mind to like how so many other people think rather than being more isolated. I think when I was studying, that was a big part of the community back then. They really struggled with connecting because obviously you're not at home at all, and so connection with people is a big part of feeling like you belong in an area. And one way that you can combat that is actually going to the same cafes every day so that you know the staff there. Like, for example, I used to go in Thailand, I went to this one local place every day. By the end of a few months there, I had one lady, this like old woman who would hug me she wouldn't speak English, but she'd sit down with me, chat with me, and then hug me every day. And it just makes you feel like you belong there, which is a big part of the pain of being nomadic. I think one thing that stayed the same from then and now is that they always traveled ideally in a month period. So they'd use, let's say, Chiang Mai as a hub. They'd stay there for a couple of months and then go away for 1 month, and they'd stay in specific locations at a month at a time and then return back. That's one way of feeling like you still have a home away from home. But the other thing right now, I've noticed a lot of people say something similar, where you're only able to connect with people to the depth that you're looking for after 10 days. So if you're only in one place for a week or something, you don't get the same sort of experiences. Plus you're working the whole time, so it gives you less time to connect. So yeah, traveling a month at a time, I think, is really important for this community to really thrive.
We're more similar than I might care to admit.
Why? What makes you think that?
I was also 2017 when I discovered the nomadic existence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I based my whole life and career choices around it, and I structured myself to get the skills I needed in London, and then I hit the road. And I only discovered co-livings in November 2024. When did you discover co-livings? Is this your first?
It is my first.
So it took you from 2016, right? Took you from 2016 till 2025.
I mean, official co-living. I've lived in places where people are working and we have like common spaces, but what's the definition of a co-living?
Let's not get into that. I have a whole video on what's the definition of a co-living. It's a feeling, for the record. It's a feeling.
Okay.
Did you get the feeling here?
Yeah, here?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's been so incredible. The connections I've made, the laughter, the like aliveness, the creativity, the inspiration, the mind-opening challenges that I've had, the space that people have given emotionally. I just think it's been life-changing almost.
Well, that happened in the last month. The same last month that I had.
Yeah, you just got to open your eyes and make sure that you create the magic every single day.
What is the magic?
The magic is what you feel inside of you.
The feeling.
The feeling. Feeling of aliveness. That's the magic. And I think newness really does help create that, obviously, but you can also choose to create it yourself on a daily basis.
Let's go back to the nomadic existence. So, do you think, now that you've experienced a co-living, it's a sustainable form of living this nomadic lifestyle that you have been working towards for 9 years or 10 years?
I think it's much more sustainable than the way I was doing it before. Like, that didn't actually appeal to me at all. It kind of felt empty. And now, having experienced co-living this way, and I also had this feeling previously, even though it technically wasn't a co-living, that I definitely could see myself doing it in months, like 1 month off, 1 month on. I would still like a base where I go back to and like have more of a homely feel. And then like I have an apartment in Spain, so I'll go back there for like a month or two and then go to another co-living, and that's, I think, how I visualize the best way for me.
Interesting. When I discovered co-livings in November 2024, I did exclusively co-livings for just under a year.
Wow.
1 month on, 1 month, 1
Oh,
month
and
between.
back? How was that?
Very intense. Very
More
intense.
intense than staying co-livings the whole time?
I was 1 month on, 1 month off for 6 months. Then the last 3 months, I was 3 months on. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I realized 1 month in a co-living wasn't enough. Because even though a month seems like a long time, it's really not.
Oh yeah, this month's gone so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved every second of it, and I would extend it as well, but not possible.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's actually a very interesting observation because people, like we talked before about how 10 days is the minimum you need to connect with people. Um, and a month could be a good amount of time. I can see a month working, but I feel like as a sustainable lifestyle choice, changing everything every month is an absolutely intense activity.
I would definitely agree, especially mixing that in with working
Yes.
efficiently, productively. It is, yeah, it's very difficult to actually keep that productivity up if you're constantly changing.
How do you maintain such a high productivity while you're traveling?
I make sure I have a routine. So I think it's really important that, well, I work with Australia, so I get up quite early. But I make sure I have a routine before I start work to keep a clear mind, and then, yeah, set a certain amount of hours. Otherwise, the day gets away from you. You're always surrounded by people and fun things to do. So you have to make sure that you give yourself enough time to actually do the work that's required.
How much do you work?
Um,
Like, I don't know, 35-hour a week or 4 hours a day or 6.5 hours a day on average?
on average, I would say 5 hours a day, 4 days a week. I don't believe in a 5-day work week. I think we need a bit more play in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually think, personally, that something like 5 hours a day, 4 days a week is actually pretty much what a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday in office employee works.
Oh, for sure. There's no way that like any more than that is efficient at all. There's no way.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I almost feel like being an employee at a location restricted place is like being in a time prison.
Describe that.
Well, you don't necessarily need to be there. Imagine if you finish your work, you don't need to be there, but you have to pretend that you are like still are doing things when you're probably not, and you're wasting so much time. And then you learn how to, you become habitual with wasting time and scrolling or doing inefficient things. So then, yeah, I think it influences your life to become a bit more unproductive overall. Strong opinions.
Do you think digital nomadism is the solution?
I think it's one solution. I think company structures do need to change. But I think digital nomadism kind of gives you a reason not to stay, well, other than you're not in a time prison because of the location, but there's actually something exciting most days. So you feel like you want to get the work done and be efficient and within a certain amount of time so that you can actually spend the rest of your evening not watching Netflix, but actually interacting or living life to its fullest.
How does it feel to have made it?
What do you mean made it?
Well, it was 2016, 2015. You heard about these digital nomads. Then you went to Thailand and you did your thing there and you observed them in their natural habitat, grazing in coffee shops and writing their whatever blog posts, whatever they did back then. And then you built yourself up and you moved over to Sydney and you got everything, got your skill set and everything ready and perfected. And now you are living in a French castle, working Australian hours, with freedom of location, to do what you like, and considering whether this is something you can do or want to do. It sounds like you have that freedom that you have desired. You're working 5 days, 4 days a week, 5 hours a day. You've made it, babe.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
Wow. You saying all of that really brought up a lot of joy in me. I really loved how I guess I just never really stopped to think about it that much. I just think this is what I need to be doing and that's it. And no, but I'm so grateful for my life. Honestly, I feel like I'm one of the luckiest people. I mean, also you create your own luck, but I do feel like I'm very lucky and grateful for being able to, like this year, choosing. I'm like, where do I want to be in March and April? Like, what country do I want to be in? It's just like, what a gift that is. Yeah. And talking to like my family and that, they're like, wow, every other sentence you talk about a different country, like it's nothing. And I'm like, yeah, it's just incredible that I get to experience so many different places and people and yeah, have my eyes wide open walking through it.
That is the digital nomad reality, is it not?
Yes. I mean, that's the good part of it. There's also the other side of it where it's difficult changing environments all the time. You might come across more difficult people than you would in your day-to-day. No, that's maybe not true. Because I think people are more on a similar mind frame.
Do you think anyone can do it?
I think the idea of it appeals to a lot of people, but I think living it wouldn't appeal to as many of them.
Why? What would they find that they didn't like? What would the idea tell them that they would expect? And then what would their reality show them that they didn't like?
I think the idea of moving countries and like experiencing the world is just, obviously that's what a lot of people want. And that sounds really exciting and thrilling. But the other side is that we are still working and so you have to balance traveling, working, meeting new people. And I think there's a lot more different kind of stresses that come up that may not suit someone else.
Name some of those stresses and how you deal with them.
Some of the stresses.
You mentioned some of them. The constant meeting new people, the constant traveling. There's obviously the main stresses that nomads often come across, like loneliness, productivity, fear of missing out, this kind of stuff. I think this is all fairly common stuff. Is there anything else that you think are some of the main stresses? And how do you deal with all of these things?
I mean, it's exhausting, like different languages, trying to communicate with people from that country, what the where you need to go for the supermarket, the gym, like all mundane things. They can get exhausting consistently looking for how to live your routine in the new place.
And how do you deal with it?
Can I ask you questions?
Yeah, you can.
What attracted you to becoming nomadic in 2017?
I listened to a podcast called World Wanderers. I was working in the HSBC Tower in Canary Wharf in London. HSBC is obviously a big, massive bank that treats its employees like numbers. And I was waking up every day, leaving for the office at 6, getting back at 8, sleeping just, to wake up the next day and do the same thing. And it was exhausting and intense. And at some point, I was doing some work and listened to this podcast about these two people that were traveling through Asia and they were writing blogs and making money online. And I was like, I want to do that. So I started setting up my life in that way. And I started really drilling down on location independence. And I had a 5-step plan of how I was going to ask my director to let me be location independent. And when I'd finally put all those things together and jumped through all of the hoops that I'd created for myself, he very simply said, no, it's not in my model for people to be working remotely. So I quit and launched my own business.
What did you launch?
An Egyptian drum company.
Oh, that's right. So unique.
I am unique.
And what attracted you to that lifestyle? Like,
Honestly, what attracted me to the lifestyle was that it was on my own terms.
yeah.
That everything existed on my own terms. Because growing up in a specific system, you kind of get used to just going through the process. You go to the right school, you go to the right uni, you start the right job, you do the right stuff, and then you live the right life, and you marry the right person, and you buy the right house. And it was all pretty much set up for me to do all of that. But I wanted some choice. That's what attracted me to it.
And do you think it's lived up to your expectations?
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Were there any downsides that you didn't predict?
The struggles of maintaining relationships, both friendships and romantic interests, I find harder than I thought I would find them. The work side has always come well to me. I'm good at that side of things. Yeah.
And how do you feel it's impacted you, the struggles with maintaining friendships and relationships?
I think with the constant moving, the constant prioritization of oneself, you inherently become more selfish. That you have absolute freedom to pick your own path. And with that freedom, you are effectively always choosing yourself. As the nomad, you are the one that leaves. For example, if you go and move to a city and you're in, let's say, Berlin, you're in Berlin, you go and you meet people and you make friends, but they are Berlin people and you are a nomad. So at some point you leave. You choose yourself. You're like, okay, I've set my life up in such a way. The same works with romantic relationships. You go somewhere, you meet someone, you fall in love, but at the end of the day, you always ask yourself, I have absolute freedom to go anywhere I want. Do I want to be in this one place right now? And as a committed nomad, you may often say no and leave.
And how do you think do you want to combat that? Do you want to have longer term relationships?
I don't know the answer to it, to be honest. I have not yet worked it out.
Like, does it impact you, I suppose, in a way that you would rather it not?
Sometimes humans make decisions which we don't know if they're the right decision or the wrong decision for us. And when you constantly make those decisions over a period of years, they start to build up into something. And the more that they build up, the further you get down that hole, and you still never really know if you're making the right decision or the wrong decision. But now you're so deep into a certain hole, you don't even know what's right or wrong anymore. So I would say, for most of my life, I genuinely thought to myself, I can't be in a relationship because I want to be going somewhere, traveling, this and that. And I'm still finding myself at exactly that point, having tried a few things, having, experimented and having my heart broken many, many, many times, sometimes much, much stronger than other times. And I still don't know the answer. And I still don't know whether every time I make the decision, it's the right decision or the wrong decision.
Is it worth being nomadic?
Yeah. Because I get freedom of decision, which is what I wanted in the first place.
I feel the same. And I feel like that's the only way to really feel liberated from the structures of society.
Damn. technically, we're at time.
You're welcome for interviewing you.
It was a pleasure, darling.